The latest on new pandemic restrictions both in British Columbia and in Manitoba. BC moving now to close the door to travelers, and Manitoba tightening the rules for get-togethers as cases climb and variants spread in both of those western provinces. Laura McQuillan starts our coverage this hour, and why don't we begin with British Columbia, Laura? We heard from the Premier yesterday, leading up to an official announcement later this week, but it's pretty clear travel is what they're focusing on right now.
That's right. And when it comes to travel, we are talking about keeping people as close to home as possible. The province of British Columbia now wants people to stay within the health region that they live in. And we've got a map to show you of what this means if you're not familiar with British Columbia and how its health regions work. So say, for instance, you were in the Fraser health region, that orange part. They do not want you to leave it, restricting that area as much as possible and setting up roadblocks similar to what they have for ride programs for drunk driving, where police would stop motorists and ask where they're coming from, where they're going and why, and trying to root out anyone who's not travelling for an essential reason, such as work, with the possibility of fines. A lot of details on this yet to be announced, and we heard Premier John Horgan yesterday say that there will be consultation with racialised communities about how this will play out, because it does come just days after Ontario announced and then rescinded new powers for police to randomly stop people on the street. Just a short time ago, I spoke with the Canadian Civil Liberties Association about this, and they said they too are waiting for more detail, which we should get on Friday. One of their spokespeople told me that the constitutionality of this will depend how it's implemented. They feel a little bit better about this than they did about Ontario's random stops, but all of that depends on the detail, of course. And she mentioned there's obviously a concern to them when police start getting involved in a public health matter. So watch this space for any potential legal challenges. British Columbia making a few other tweaks to its restrictions as well, which mean that indoor dining and indoor group fitness will be banned right through to the end of the May long weekend, so May 25th, which is when these travel restrictions are set to last till as well, once they come into effect. We've been speaking with scientists about all of this for weeks in British Columbia, and they've been urging more restrictions for public health measures to try and rein in the spread of variants, in particular that variant that originated in Brazil, which now has its largest outbreak outside of Brazil in British Columbia. One of those experts we spoke to is Caroline Collane, and here is what she told us about this announcement yesterday.
I wish we had taken the chance to avoid variants of concern establishing themselves in BC in the first place. I think we did miss the boat on that. But I do think the best we can do to curb their transmission now through our own individual actions around socializing, also through restrictions on travel, and through really taking up those vaccines if you get an offer.
So from British Columbia, let us switch to Manitoba, because also, as we mentioned, Laura, new restrictions coming in there. And Manitoba's focus is really gathering sizes and who can get together, how many people.
That's right. So cracking down both on indoor and outdoor gatherings, but not banning them completely. Up until now, a household has been able to bubble with another household. That is now off the cards, though you can have 2 designated visitors to your home. And when it comes to outdoor gatherings, those will be capped at 10 people max, whether that's a public event or a private gathering. Again, aimed at trying to bring down that curve, that third wave that they're now seeing there. And we heard yesterday that these measures are really the last step before a full-blown lockdown, and we have seen in Manitoba some pretty strict measures in the past. We heard that reinforced by both their top doctor and by their Premier, Brian Pallister, who had this warning.
We don't want to go back to where we were before, obviously, and so we know that the days of COVID beating us were hard days for all of us. These are measures to step up the enforcement that sadly is necessary because of the fact that some people need to get the message more directly than most of you who've already acted on these messages and are doing so. So I thank you for doing that, but I want you to know that we take the enforcement of these health orders seriously.
And these new measures in Manitoba are set to last until May 12th, so that's about 3 weeks from now, with no guarantee that they will end then and no guarantee there won't be more restrictions in the meantime. This described as a last chance for Manitobans before more of a lockdown, Heather.
Laura McQuillan, thank you very much.